Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8. I think it's episode 8. Yeah, it's episode 8 of the Pop Punk Podcast with me, T Will Official, and my G-ass co-host, Mr. Daddy Mush. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? Thank you once again for that rousing introduction. I always appreciate it. How's
Absolutely.
everybody?
And we are, if you're watching this on Twitch, we are a little fashionably late. 3:27, I was getting ready, and then Princess decided she had to go out, so I had to take her out real quick. I wasn't going to say no. So, we're fashionably late, but you know what? It's okay, because I think we have a very good episode in store. A little part 2 of last week. Where last week we were kind of talking about like stories of us recording before. So now we did the past. Now today we're going to talk about the present and the future. But before we do that, you already know what we do at the start of every podcast episode. What have you been listening to lately, sir?
Let me pull up my Spotify real quick just to kind of get a general dose. Okay, here's what my good afternoon says. There's a lot of the same. There's a lot of, Chunk No Captain Chunk. I got a little Man Overboard in there, the band. I got the Ataris in there. I also
Very
have,
good.
got the Ataris, yeah, So on the Story. I got 2 Chunk albums, Tom DeLonge solo stuff. And you got me hooked on Concerts for Aliens by MGK. I truly enjoy that song quite a bit, I must say.
I do as well. Like I said last week, I don't think his other song, I'm blanking on the name right now, Bloody Valentine. I don't think that was a bad song, but I think I definitely liked it in the context of it was MGK putting out a pop punk song.
Yeah, your standards really weren't there.
Yeah, so the standards were definitely a little bit lower. So I liked it in that context. But Concert for Aliens, I just genuinely really enjoy, even by my own like pop punk standards.
He actually dropped a new song, I think yesterday or this morning.
Ooh, I haven't heard that yet. I'll have to listen to that after the show.
And neither have I. It's called let me see what it's called real quick. It's called My Ex's Best Friend, and it features the rapper Black Bear.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to peep that. I haven't heard that one.
And neither have I, to be honest. So but I hear it's also pretty decent stuff.
Yeah, so I hear. I mean, like all his stuff lately has been pretty freaking good. Like I said, like Bloody Valentine was amazing. Well, Bloody Valentine was good. Concert for Aliens was amazing. My apologies. And the other song that he did, I forget what it's called. It's not supposed to be on his new album. I think it was on his last album, but he did it with Travis Barker and he did it with somebody else. Hold on, I'm gonna peep it right now on Spotify. I'm gonna get the name of it for you, because I know it was him and it was Travis Barker, and that was like the beginning of his like I guess friendship with Travis. I think I'm okay with Youngblood and Travis Barker. That was kind of like the start of him kind of switching gears.
Well, good for him. I mean, it's been successful so far, unlike another previously famous white rapper, such as Vanilla Ice and his bipolar.
Oh yeah, that's true. The album that you theorized killed nu metal.
Yes. So, I mean, at least it's a much better, it's a complete 180 from what Vanilla Ice did when he did his rock effort.
Yeah, because bipolar. Look, I fucks with Vanilla Ice as a person, and I fucks with Ice Ice Baby as a song. But after that, yeah, he made some major swings and misses.
I believe the dudes from Korn, like the guitarist of Korn, recorded guitar for him on that.
That's so weird. And like the guitarist from Korn's thinking like, yo, I made it because I'm playing guitar for Vanilla Ice.
I think Korn was like Korn was huge back in the day.
Yeah, I think they were like obviously Limp Bizkit was like the number one for like nu metal bands. And then number 2 probably was Korn. Either Korn or like maybe like Rob Zombie or something.
Yeah, but at least like Korn, for their sake, they have actually, stayed a band, and I think there are legitimate Korn fans. I think many Limp Bizkit fans are more just like
Yeah,
memes.
they're more kind of like us, where it's like it's ridiculous, but we can't look away. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's like
car
a
accident,
as I
or
say,
like
yeah,
it's like a train crash. That's the saying. It's horrible, but you can't look away.
I mean, Korn was huge. I mean, their album "Follow the Leader" was like went #1 on 4 different charts and sold like it was like a 5 million album, like sold like 5 million albums. It was pretty insane how big Korn was back in the day.
Yeah, I remember they were on an episode of South Park.
Enough said.
Yeah, I know. That's how you know you made it when your band starts guesting on cartoons.
I
Especially like
mean,
the big cartoons like Family Guy and like South Park and shit.
they have had multiple #1 albums, which is pretty insane how big they were.
Yeah. Yeah, so they probably would be the number 2 spot right after Limp Bizkit.
I'd say,
Cause like I know a lot of it like has to do with like he's pretty much a meme within the new metal, but nonetheless he was a legitimate superstar. I mean,
yeah,
all I'm saying is the homies from Korn weren't in Zoolander when he was brainwashing him. And he's like, don't get distracted by the beautiful celebrities. They ain't showing a picture of Jonathan Davis. That's all I'm saying. But they do show Fred Durst.
Fred Durst is just he's a definition of he's more famous. He's more of a showman than a musician.
That I 100% agree with. I remember I was watching the Punk Rock NBA video he did on Fred Durst, and he was saying like pretty much everything about like Limp Bizkit's fame and Fred Durst's like attitude was like calculated. Like behind the scenes, he's actually like very smart and has a very keen business sense.
Well,
And
it
he
worked
knew what
because
worked. He knew like being hated would be a faster track to success. And he said like Limp Bizkit's name, well, he did it like that on purpose. He wanted a name people would look at and go like, "Oh, what the hell's that?"
I think Limp Biscuit means like small is like limp, and I think biscuit's a term for like a schlong, so it means like limp dick.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah, so I
remember.
mean,
Yeah, he they had a few. They had like a few. They had a few like name. I forget the names right now, but they had a few like weird names. I think one of them was like Blood Knife or some shit like that.
there was a other name I'm looking up right now. There was Gimp Disco,
I remember.
Piglet,
Yeah,
and Blood Fart.
Blood Fart. That's it. I know it was something dumb.
Yeah, and I like how Limp Biscuit's like the smart one of all those weird names.
I know. Like, could you
It is
imagine? Like, yo, who
equally as
you
just
listening
insane.
to? I'm listening to Gimp Disco. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but I know there's a cool guy with a red backwards hat. So yeah, but what have you been listening to though?
Oh, I'm glad you asked this because I have been waiting 3 days to say this. I've been
Uh,
listening to a lot of Falling in Reverse lately.
yeah, I feeling that was coming up because you get talking to them, and I was like half asleep when you sent that to me. I'm like, well, I don't even know how to respond to this, but
Yeah,
continue.
because like, all right, so like, I've always liked that first Escape the Fate album that had Ronnie on it, and I remember like I was never like big into Falling in Reverse because I don't know, something about them just sounded like off to me. But I listened to these two songs, Bad Girls Club and Game Over, and they are both just pop punk bangers. Like Bad Girls Club has like a weird like cheerleader chant in the middle, it's kind of whack, but the whole rest of the song is amazing. And then Game Over just that has like one of my favorite choruses like ever. It's so catchy.
I mean, listen up is a banger.
Listen Up is a banger. I want to hear more pop punk from Ronnie Radke. I think he's actually very incredible when he makes pop punk. Like,
It's funny, that was like the first song they ever released too.
yeah, Listen Up was like that was like the first song they ever released, and it was just pure like pop punk. Bad Girls Club is like pure pop punk. Like I said, the cheerleader chants a little weird in the middle, but the rest of the song is just pure pop punk. Even has kind of like a neon flair to it because there's like a lot of synth in there too. And then Game Over is just like I said, that has an amazing. That's like one of my favorite like pop punk choruses. I think.
I gotta check that out, but I do know that I remember like the initial interview when they dropped "Listen Up." They like remember him saying like an interview that he was listening to like a lot of saves a day when he wrote it.
I mean, it shows because that's a banger. And unfortunately, Listen Up is not on Spotify, but it is on YouTube. But I listen to it a lot on YouTube. And Bad Girls Club and Game Over are both in my on repeat at the number 2 and number 6 spots, respectively.
Very nice. I still don't know how to get to the on repeat section on my Spotify. I just literally just look at the whole good morning thing they give me every day.
It's just under the uniquely yours. It'll show like your summer rewind, like your liked songs, your year end playlist, and then the on repeats there. That's where I go. But yeah, and then like I've come around to even honestly the first album of Falling in Reverse, because the first album to me, it kind of sounds like what Escape the Fate album 2 would have sounded like if Ronnie didn't go to prison and then subsequently get kicked out of Escape the Fate. Like, that's what that sounds like to me. So, like, I like the first album for that. But then the second album, like, it gets a little weird. Not all the songs on the second album are good, I would say. Some of it actually sounds... Some of it's pretty heavy, which, you know, I do enjoy the metalcore. So, like, the pure metalcore songs are pretty solid, in my opinion. But then some of the songs kind of sound like A Day to Remember. And, like, I'm not into A Day to Remember. I'll just say that right now. I'm not a big fan. So a few of the songs on there do kind of sound like A Day to Remember, but then there's just Bad Girls Club and Game Over, which just sound like pure pop punk bangers. And to anybody watching the podcast, if there's any other Falling in Reverse songs that like sound like those two songs, please let me know, because I love those freaking songs, both of them. I even kind of like, there's one song off the third album that I thought was pretty cool. It's called like Just Like You, which is... It's got like a pop punk sensibility to it. I don't know if I call it full pop punk, at least not in the same vein as like Listen Up or Bad Girls Club or Game Over. But it's definitely got a little bit of a sensibility to it. And yeah, so like I think I'm not completely changed in my opinion on Falling in Reverse, cause I haven't heard enough to change my opinion, but I definitely can admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about the first album. The first album is pretty solid, and the second album, like I said, those two songs are like they're probably two of my favorite Falling in Reverse songs, probably right after Listen Up. Listen Up would probably still be my favorite, because it's just pure pop punk banger. But then Bad Girls Club and then Game Over, they're probably my second and third favorites. Probably, I don't know if I could rate them. I'd probably put Game Over above Bad Girls Club, because Game Over just has like, I love the chorus to Game Over. But then Bad Girls Club, I think, is a better song overall. So it's just kind of tough. I don't know how I would rate them.
Yeah, I mean, I am looking at the Falling in Reverse Facebook page, and they have a lot of different genres they're listed under, and it's pretty hilarious of how different they all are.
Yeah, I know. Like, their Wikipedia says, like, they're, like, metalcore, pop punk, glam metal, like, hard rock, and then some other shit.
Rapcore and electronica.
Yeah, because their second album does have some, like, trap, like, and, like, rap elements to it, too. It's a very weird album.
There was that song that John showed us, and he's, like, rapping over it.
Yeah, well, that's later. That's a newer song. That's not off that album.
I can see where they got the whole kind of rap metal electronica vibe that they
Yeah, he's definitely Ronnie's definitely all over the place. And you know, just like anybody that's all over the place, like their stuff's gonna be hit or miss, because you know I don't like every genre ever. I could admit that. So some of it's gonna be very hit or miss, but I used to just kind of write it off, like I don't know about this. I don't know this. I don't know if I'll enjoy this, but and I can admit when I was wrong, and I think I was wrong about at the very least the first album and some songs after the first album.
I have a lot of former members.
Yeah, I think Falling in Reverse is mainly it's just mainly Ronnie's thing.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Their bass player joined in 2018, their guitarist joined in 2018, and their drummer joined in 2019. So they're all relatively pretty much new members.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where, like, you know, there is a band, but like the writing is like all Ronnie, and it's like pretty much like Ronnie's thing. Like he's the definite like front man.
Yeah, I mean, there was one guy, Derek Jones, who was there from the very beginning with him, but he like died in April.
Yeah, I know. It's actually I read about that. That's like super unfortunate.
Yeah. So I mean, so it wasn't like, so he was like the only other consistent member. He was kind of like what Dave Soloway was to Chris Conley and Saves the Day before Dave just quit.
Yeah. Although
He
in
was
this
the only
case
one
he didn't
consistent
quit. He
guy.
unfortunately died. Yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, it's funny enough because that guy Dave from Saves the Day is still in the side project with Chris Conley.
That's so weird. Like you would think it would be the other way around. Like he'd leave the side project but then stay with Saves the Day.
Yeah, but I guess maybe, he just wanted just a band to kind of play shows with and just wanted to work like, have a normal life per se. I mean, I don't know the guy, I don't know the reasoning. I'm just saying that would be my only logical sense I could make from that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would probably be the big reason because you would think like Saves the Day. Like I know they're not like Blink-182 level, but I'm sure that they probably be a decent like they could probably like eat it like Denny's or something if they
They
keep
still
playing
tour
Saves
at
the
the
Day tours.
TLA and still tour at the TLA and Electric Factory every single time, and they're still the headliners. It's not like they're like washed up. They're still drawing in crowds.
Yeah, exactly. So
God
I guess
bless.
that's probably the only thing is yeah if he just wanted to like be normal.
Yeah, like maybe got a family and kids, and you just wanted to raise them. So you just be like, I still want to be in like a band, but like I'll be in the side project still, just so I can make music
Yeah,
still. You know what I mean?
yeah, something where we can make music, but it's not like every single day.
Yeah, where he's, yeah. So I mean, there's that, and anything else you've been listening to, or has that really been it?
Yeah, so let me just go through my top five like I do every week. So yeah, Concert for Aliens is my number one still because I agree that that is a banger. And then like I said, Bad Girls Club is my number two. Apology Rejected by These Hearts is number three. Have you ever heard that song?
I never heard of that band or anything.
Okay, so the song it's like I guess it's easy core, but it's not like a mix. Like they do them separate. Like there's a pop punk part, and then there's just like a straight up like metalcore part, and then it just like switches in between the two. It's very weird, very disjointed, but I fucks with it.
I mean, it sounds like it's one of those things where it's just so crazy where it's actually pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely a type of band where the whole comment section on their YouTube is like, "This band fucking sucks. Oh my god, cringe incarnate. What the fuck?" But
What are they called again?
they're called These Hearts. The song is called Apology Rejected.
Okay.
And then my number four is Time on My Hands by Win by Two, which
God bless them.
still an amazing song. And then my number five, rounding out my top five, although like I said, Game Over is the number six. So my number five to round the whole thing out is Therefore I Party by Pat and Pending.
It's a classic. Can't go wrong with that.
Oh, I love that. I love that song. So yeah, that's pretty much been my top five. That yeah, that These Hearts song. I heard it in I was watching Jared Alonge. He was like I think he streams with Twitch now, and I was just watching on YouTube. It was like a clip compilation of like his stream, and he put on that Apology Rejected song, and he was kind of like roasting it, but like kind of lovingly roasted it because you could tell he was like kind of into it. And I remember the thing he made fun of that I noticed immediately was like every single person in that band looks like fucking Shane Dawson.
I was gonna say I was looking up their stuff and they're very had the nice little straightened bleach hair that was very popular back in the day.
Yeah, I mean I think it was 2011. So
Yeah, that
that's
song was
like
definitely
yeah,
2011. Yeah,
yeah. So that's that's that. That like when he said that, it made me laugh because like they all do. I guess that's a yikes in 2020 with all the shit going down about Shane Dawson, but like that still just made it was just a whole band of Shane Dawsons. Like they all look like Shane Dawson. I thought that was fucking funny.
yeah, their hair is something different,
I know it's like all the same, like the emo swoopy but long.
and they're all like different shades of colors too. I'm looking. There's like bleach blonde, red, brown, dark brown, and like mix of all four colors combined into a thick boy.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, their drummer is he's pretty thick.
He has the curly rendition of the cut.
Yeah, yeah. So that's those guys. That made me laugh. But the song I actually genuinely really enjoy. Like I said, it's kind of easy core, but instead of mixing it, they just play them side by side.
Yeah, so I mean, good for them.
Yeah, good for them indeed. And I think that rounds out the what we've been listening to section of the. That's been 20 fucking minutes of the podcast. Holy shit! But now we can get into the main meat of the podcast today, which is recording part 2. Okay, so last week was part 1. We talked about, like stories of when we recorded before, and we were talking about how like next week we were going to have more to talk about, which we do. We recorded a demo. We're not done with it yet, but we recorded a demo on Saturday of a new Knockout Kings song, and I'm so far pretty happy with how it's sounding.
Yeah, I don't want to, and I'm not just saying this due to recency bias or anything, but I definitely think it is. Maybe I'm a little, biased because we just did it, or maybe because, musically I was 100% involved in it. But I definitely think it's probably the best song that I have produced per se. You know what I mean? Like I wrote.
Yeah, lyrics wise, I think cuz the way you did, like, I would say probably like 95% of the music. The other 5% was just like, input from like Mario and John,
Yeah,
which
most of you going, try this. And I go, okay, or should I do this or that? Okay.
yeah, like, how about you try this? Which
Yeah, that's just normal producing music,
yeah, yeah. Which yeah. And so, like, yeah, like 90%, 95% of music was you, and then the other 5% was just like input from like John and Mario, and then the lyrics were 100% me. And that, I think, actually was the first song we recorded that was 100% me on the lyrics. Because I think well, I mean, obviously we only recorded one other song, but I mean, what I should have said was all the other songs we wrote right during the storyline era of Knockout Kings, the second incarnation of the lineup. Like, I think I wrote lyrics to every single one of the songs except for Clock Tower, and I think I also didn't have any involvement with Skater Girl. But all the other songs, like, I wrote, like, I would say about like maybe 40% of the lyrics. But like this one's 100% of 100% me. And I still think my favorite lyrics I ever did was probably the original verse to Paul Allen, which will now never see the light of day. But I gotta say, I think the pre-chorus to the song we wrote, which is called "Execute Order 66," is not up yet. It's still probably got a little ways to go before it gets released. But I figure we'll just talk about it now, just because we recorded, so it's something to talk about. The pre-chorus to "Execute Order 66" is probably my second favorite thing I ever wrote. Pre-chorus 1, I should say. Although pre-chorus 2 is pretty solid too. But pre-chorus 1 in particular is probably, I think, my favorite thing I ever wrote. And I don't think that's recency biased on my end. I think that's just I'm getting better at writing stuff. And
Yeah.
it shows. Funny enough, so the lyrics, the reason I was actually able to pump out these lyrics so quick and have them still sound good and not sound like rushed is I lifted them, like I lifted a lot of the lyrics from other songs I was writing that'll probably just never see the light of day. I repurposed them a little bit to make them fit like the song and like the melodies within the song. The pre-chorus, I actually, it was just a straight lift. The lyrics were entirely the same. The melody, I would say, is like 99% of the same. I tweaked it just a tiny bit to make it a little more bouncy to fit with the kind of like bouncier riff that the pre-chorus has. But I just 100% lifted that If I didn't write that pre-chorus, it would be straight up plagiarism.
Yeah, I feel you.
But that's how I was able to do that. I lifted from two songs I was writing that were kind of both about the same thing. They were both in the same key, so I didn't have to do much with the vocal. I mean, I tweaked the vocal melodies to make them fit like the song that we recorded, but I didn't really have to do much to the vocal melodies. The verses were actually, I think, completely new. I didn't lift the verses from anywhere else, but the verses were kind of in the same, like, it was kind of easy once I kind of had like a general theme to the song. It was kind of easy to throw some lyrics on top. So the verses I was able to do pretty quickly, and then the pre-chorus was from one of the songs I was writing, and then the chorus was from another song I was writing, and then I just kind of put them all into like one big Franken song. So
I mean, that works too, man. I mean, this was definitely, I think, the weirdest process of writing a song because I literally had zero idea how it's actually going to sound altogether and turn out because, like, every time you make a song, you have a full band and you practice this song with other people. So you practice and rehearse this with like other people. But this is the first time, I even ever heard a lead guitar over the rhythm part of it. So I didn't even know when I was writing it that was even going to sound good. I was just kind of hoping it would sound good because it's all in the same key.
yeah, and it actually does. It kind of has like a sad sound to it, which I think sounds really good.
Well, I like that's why the key of B is awesome because the key of B always has a little tinge of sadness.
Yeah, a little tinge, but not enough to where it's like sad boy, right? Like boy is in like BOI. But it has enough sadness to where it's like, okay, yeah, all right. They're going through some shit. They went through some shit when they wrote this song. I get that, but they're still trying to be happy and fun because it's pop punk.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the quote unquote sadder sounding pop punk songs usually do have a key of B in them, such as Greg's Last Day by the Starting Line.
Which is an amazing song.
Yeah, I mean, most songs in the key of B are pretty amazing. Like Pathetic has, Anthem by Blink-182 has a bit of a sadder kind of tinge to it towards the end when Tom keeps singing I'm Time Bomb over it. That's pretty, a little for pop punk, a little feeling the sadness.
Yeah.
You try to get what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Didn't you say City Escape was in the key of B? Like I know that's not sad, but just while we're talking about the key of B real quick.
Yes, it is.
That's fucking that's all you need to know. Like that song. I consider it. It's a pop punk song to me. I don't know.
100%, no doubt. Yes, it is in the. It's a pop punk song, and it is in the key of B.
Yeah, and it is a banger.
Yes, it is. So I mean, it's pretty hard to deny the glory of B.
Yeah, and our song was in the key of B. The two songs that I was writing those lyrics for was in the key of B. It just works. It just worked for like everything, and I was able to come up with those lyrics like super quick because I got those lyrics done in like a couple days.
That's good, and yeah, that's good. And just to I have been writing more guitar riffs for the other songs I've been working on too. So those are finally kind of entering maybe 80% finished stages.
Oh yeah, and that does remind me. I do have a riff that I would like to use on a song that I recorded like very slowly and then sped up in Audacity to like get it to how I heard it in my head. Because for those that are listening, I am no guitarist. I can barely play, but just for writing purposes, I sped it up in Audacity that I would like to show you and if they still like record future songs with us, like Mario to play, or whoever we find on Craigslist to play, and yeah, so I'll send you that after we're done with this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the thing with music, just for the sake of writing, I mean, I know there's not a whole podcast about writing music, but just since we're on the topic of new songs, I feel like the best way to write something is to not force it. Let it come natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why like when I can't think of anything to write like lyric wise, I'll just stop and I'll come back later because I'd rather have a whole song of like. And like when I'm listening to music, I don't really care too much about like lyrics. Like bad lyrics do stand out, but like if a song has this kind of like lyrics, like I don't really care. But when I write like my own stuff, I like to put effort into it because good lyrics do stand out to me as well. So I'd rather have a whole song with good lyrics than like maybe like a good verse and then like a rushed pre-chorus just because I was still writing. Like
Yeah,
I wanted to just get it all done in a day.
yeah, like lyrics are definitely important to me because I don't know, maybe I'm more quote unquote Mo per se, but I do enjoy a good lyric. But when lyrics are bad, it's just I just sit there. I'm like, what the hell did this guy just say? Like, been noticing a lot post Steve Klein, Newfound Glory lyrics have been pretty. What was that? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
I love how they just name dropped the '96 Bulls.
I know, or like the song Himalaya by Newfound Glory. The lyrics are just randomly talking about like they'll want a piece of your birthday cake. And I'm like, what does this even mean, bro?
I mean, I guess cake is supposed to be like ass.
Metaphorically, I don't know, man. But
I
you know
don't
what
know.
I mean.
Maybe he wants to eat out his girlfriend on her birthday. He wants to eat her ass. I don't fucking know.
Well, the song's all about friends, and I don't know. You got to listen to the lyrics. It just it
Maybe,
doesn't.
maybe he wants to be more than friends, and he wants to eat her fucking booty on her birthday. I don't
I
fucking
think
know.
you're not even on the right theme, but go for it, King. I like your rendition better.
Well, thank you. That's
You know how, but I'm just saying, but like bad lyrics are more like they can
what?
definitely ruin a song. Not ruin a song, but they definitely make it less enjoyable by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I think I'm on that level where like just okay lyrics don't really bother me because I look for vocal melodies more than anything. Like if a song has like fucking like amazing vocal hook, the lyrics could be about like filling out a tax return and I'll still be hyped because the fucking like the vocal hook is just banging. But yeah, if something's exceptionally bad or exceptionally good, I'll notice and I'll be like, "Yo, that was kind of solid."
Kind of fire, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or on the more negative side of things, that was fucking awful.
What songs have you thought about that way of like legitimate bands where you like the song, but then the lyrics kick in, you're like, what was that, bro?
Ooh. On the spot, I don't know. On the spot, I don't know if I can think of any. Because I do know like there was like Bored to Death, like Life's Too Short to Last Long, but I don't really know if I really like Bored to Death to begin with. So that like I mean the melody's catchy, but like that lyric is just like what did they just say? Life's too short to last long. I mean that's kind of redundant.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to be deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can think of any off the top of my head, but I know that there have been. Um yeah, I don't for the sake of not having dead air, I don't want to like think too hard about it. So
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's
I'll
my
just leave it
example.
at probably like Bored to Death, which I mean I guess I don't hate that song. I don't love it either, but it's definitely better than like fucking Nine. But we already beat that to death, so let's not.
Yes, we beat that subject to death. But I think the biggest thing for me is just like I know we're jumping down a rabbit hole, but like I think the biggest example for me is definitely like Steve Klein, Newfound Glory lyrics have hit or miss. They've been I mean, they're not like terrible or they ruin the song, but I definitely think to myself, I'm like,
Yeah, the '96 Bulls line to me in particular is kind of weird. So I guess that might be a good example. Greatest of
well,
all time.
I enjoy it. Well, I mean, there was like definitely like
Yeah, I mean
whatever.
it's not like it's bad. It's just more like it's ridiculous. Like that came out of fucking nowhere. Now they're out here name
I
dropping
like
the
how they name drop
'96
Jordan,
Bulls.
Ramen, and Pittman.
Yeah.
But
Jordan,
the rest
Rahman, and Pittman.
of the album is compared to the rest of the album, that lyric is actually more on the normal side of things. Or
Oh.
comes out of left field.
Yeah, I guess I still haven't really listened to it yet, so I guess I don't really have much of an opinion on that.
Yeah, but I've been listening to that out. That's been my new On My Way to Work album. So I've been listening to it a lot lately again.
Yeah, and I guess so. I like where I'm coming from. Like, I'm a melody first kind of guy, so I definitely try to write good melodies. But I also want to make sure the lyrics are good too. Like, I don't want like whack lyrics. And that was something I was kind of nervous about when we were going in recording, is because kind of like you said with your like with the rhythm and the lead together. I didn't know if the lyrics were gonna sound good all together. I knew the pre-chorus was gonna sound good, but I didn't know if the rest of the song was gonna sound good. You know what I mean? So it made me happy with how it turned out and how the lyrics sounded really good. The melodies sound really good. Um, that definitely squashed that fear a little bit. Because going in, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, do these lyrics suck or are these lyrics good? Like, I can't tell.
Recording takes a lot out of you, or at least it does for me.
I know, you were like falling asleep by the end. Like,
Oh, I know.
literally. Like, me and John are talking, and you're like slumped.
I know. I got like a pillow for my face, just like slumped. I'm in like one of those weird like I'm conscious, but I'm like also in a dream state where it's just like you ever get those scenes where you're half asleep, so like, but like you know what's going around you, but in your head it's completely different or something like that.
Actually, yeah, I feel like that a lot, like, late at night. Like, for those that don't know, I stay up until, like, 3 a.m. And around, like, 1:30, like, 2 in the morning, like, some nights where I'm just very tired, and, like, my mind's, like, kind of, like, wandering. I'm sort of, like, dreaming, but, like, my eyes are closed, but, like, I'm still awake. I'm not really asleep yet, but, like, it feels like I'm asleep. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, like my mind was wandering, but I was still like hearing everything, so it was just this weird concoction of insanity. But yeah, that recording session took a lot out of me just because of how long and strenuous it took, and I like how
You did, on the demo, you did do, like, pretty much everything except for the vocals and the drums. Like, I know, like, on the real recording, Mario's gonna be on the guitar and you're gonna be on the bass. But just for the sake of the demo, just to kind of, like, show Mario, like, John pretty much had you do everything. So that also makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, it sounded good enough for the demo.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely noticed parts where it was, like, a little offbeat. But, like, it's a demo. So, I don't give a fuck. Because, like, the full song is going to sound nice and clean.
Yeah, since we have a nice crisp shine of production, that really gives the songs a big boost.
Exactly. And,
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for it. I think the song is. I'm not just saying that because I, wrote the music. But I do think it is a very good to great song. I hope it comes out as good as I think it will be because I was heavily impressed by the demo.
well, yeah, it can only go up from here because on the real song, it's gonna have cleaner guitars, like better vocals that don't sound so echoey because I'm gonna actually have a vocal melody to go off of this time. Versus, like, on the demo, I do sound a little echoey because what John did was he had us record everything twice, and just to kind of make everything sound more full and, like, bigger, so to speak. And with singing, especially if you don't really have a set, like, vocal melody to go off of, like, I had the melodies in my head, but it was my first time, like, getting them out recorded on anything. So, like,
my issue too.
So I was definitely singing, like, not different, like, they weren't like different melodies, but just, like, maybe slightly out of time here, slightly off key here, and, like, it made it sound like you could definitely tell there was two of me on the recording, but that's also not going to be an issue on the full song, because now I've been listening to the demo that we have recorded just, like, a lot. Partially because I like it, partially because I'm proud of what we did, but also partially just to, like, get the vocal melodies down so that I have, like, a set, like, okay, this is how I'm going to sing it on the recording so that when I record twice, it's, like, the exact same thing, so it just sounds full.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing is sounding full.
Yeah, it does. Like, it already sounds full, so it's going to sound really, it's like I said, the full song just only up from here.
Yeah, I hope everybody else is excited as we are.
Yeah, and the drumming, holy shit. Like, the drumming is definitely, I was a little nervous. Going in that the song was going to sound a little too basic. But the drumming really made it sound like a fucking, like, legit song. Like, I know John watched the podcast, so first of all, thank you very much for watching. Second of all, dude, you're fucking talented as shit. Nothing against John. Like, it's not that I thought that he couldn't do it, because I knew from when we had that jam session with him a couple weeks back that he's definitely, like, very capable and very talented.
And, the 1x2 songs too are very good.
Exactly. But just in my head, I don't know, I was just picturing a very basic song with, like, maybe, like, basic drums, just because, like, that's just, I don't know, that's just how I heard it in my head. And, it did not come out that way, and that alleviated, like, all my, I guess not really stress, because I wasn't stressing, but, like, fear that it was gonna turn out like a basic song,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I like to think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't know. I guess it's just more of a fear of myself because every time I try to write guitars, it just sounds very basic, and that's why I usually just stick to vocal melodies and let everybody else take care of the music.
Yeah, well, I have been, it has been, I have been working heavily on my, not heavily, heavily, speech therapy.
Heavily.
I was working big time on my, guess practicing songwriting capabilities as being like a that would definitely say the storyline era of part two, I guess, would definitely increase my songwriting capabilities tenfold, considering I kind of became the primary songwriter.
Okay.
And I kind of learned just from, observing and watching other people and looking at guitar riffs that, that song was written 2 years ago, so it's not a new song by any means. So I mean, I really didn't add much to it except for that little second verse lead I added on top or
Yeah.
recommended to. But I mean, I've definitely been working on my songwriting capabilities when it comes to lead guitar parts. So that I've been excited on that because I have definitely been improving in that measure ever for the past few years, I would say.
Yeah, cause like it's crazy. Like sometimes a lead part can just make or break. Like sometimes a song will just sound so good with just like a little lead on top. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but like verse two of the song we were recording, just that little like, but like that over top everything else just sounded like amazing. It made the
I know
song
it
sound
sounded so much better than I expected it. So
at,
yeah, I'm pretty excited for what's ahead.
yeah, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it made us sound more full.
Yes, and that's pretty much the biggest concern for when you go to recording. You want to sound full, you want to sound big, you want to sound powerful, you want someone to blast it through your speakers and be like, "Damn, yo, this is good. I'm bumping this."
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's
And
nothing weak. There's nothing worse than a quote unquote weak production, if you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah, no, definitely, I definitely feel that 100%. That was definitely like that, like just a little like EP that I did like on my own. So that was definitely a weak production. And no disrespect to my boy Dave, cause like he's good. He's good at doing what he does. This was just like his first time doing anything. Like how I said, like we were Pam's first rock production. I was Dave's first anything production.
Yeah, so you can't
Yeah.
really expect
But
much,
yeah, I don't blame him.
That's,
And the whole just purpose is I was just trying to get some fucking music out, and so I did. So I'm happy about it. I mean, I'm not happy about it now. I'm actually very disappointed in how that EP came out. Not on the production side, more so just on the writing side. I didn't really like my writing back then. I feel like I've definitely improved. But
like 6, 7 years ago.
I would say like 5. I think actually, funny enough, because I think it came out September 1st, 2015, is I believe what it said on the Bandcamp. And that's actually, I think, going to be when this episode gets uploaded on YouTube. It's going to be September 1st, 2020. So it'll be exactly 5 years ago as of when this gets uploaded on YouTube.
How about that?
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah. So that's probably the only thing I could say that would really sound like weak. Cause like I remember like the original like Ledger stuff. Like I know you definitely had your qualms about the vocals, but production wise, like everything else sounded really good.
Pete Adams is a pro.
Yeah, yeah, he's a definite pro. Who I think you say he charges like 3,000 per song now. I think right.
Yeah, back in the day, it was 100 a song. It was the best deal in the town, man. Couldn't beat it.
Yeah, well that just goes to show like how much of a pro this guy is. Like anybody charging that much for a song, you know, is gonna be good.
Yeah, like he actually works down in Bethesda, Maryland now with the dude from First to Last, the guitar player.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I gotta look up his name because they have so many former members that band does.
Yeah, which I think included Skrillex at one point.
But he was the original.
Yeah, he was the original
He was
singer.
the second singer because they had another singer before their full length. That was pretty much like a pop punk EP. It was pretty cool. But yeah, Sonny Moore was like he was on the first two full lengths. So yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of funny because you think like from first to last, like they're not nobodies, but they definitely weren't on the same level that like Skrillex was. But like you just think and you're like, dude, this dude was a part of from first to last, and now he's just like a mega star.
He's actually back in the band now, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think I heard that. That's wild. Like, yo, good for them. Good for them to have somebody that breaks away and just becomes a mega star doing something else and then comes back. Like props.
Oh, I know it is pretty insane. But so yeah, so there was that.
Yeah,
First and
so
last.
so
Yeah, Taylor Lawson is the guy. He's not in the band anymore.
what was his name? You cut out a little bit.
Oh, Taylor Larson. He's not. He was only on one album from 2015. He's also known in the band Periphery, I believe he is.
Oh, Periphery, yeah, Punk Rock NBA talks about them a lot. I think he's like friends with them.
Yeah, well, he's also like their producer.
Yo, cool. Good for him. Mad respect.
And
Mad
he's
respect.
also he also mixed and mastered a couple of Ask Alexander, The Word Alive, I See Stars, Memphis Mayfire. You know, a lot of those bands that he
Okay,
has.
so he's definitely on the heavier side of things then.
He also produced I believe he also produced the new album by Never Kept that's coming out. So it's going to be pretty interesting that for whatever reason they always go with like metal producers.
I mean, hey, yo, good for them. Because metal, I will say metal, in particular, like metalcore and everything, like they do usually have pretty like tight production. So maybe that's just the sound they want to go for. Is they want that like tight, like almost like metalcore sound. Like
Yeah,
not sound as in like genre, but sound as just in like production wise.
in the vibe, I guess.
Yeah. So
That's
I can honestly understand why they do that.
they always end up going to these dudes that mostly do metal music.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we got a little off topic. I think we were just talking about like weak productions. And yeah, no, I think Execute Order 66, which is again gonna be the name of the song, I believe. Not a weak production, not at all. Very, very strong.
Wrong.
What?
It's a strong production.
Oh, I only heard the wrong part. I was like, what the fuck am I wrong about?
No, it's a strong production. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Discord doing you dirty a little bit. It cut you out. It cut the part, so all I heard was wrong.
Oh no, I said it's gonna be a strong production, and hopefully everybody else likes as much as we do. And I'm excited to start producing more music in the future because we have 2 songs of music fully written.
Yeah,
we just have to kind of change the lyrics up.
So I think the plan is we're gonna release like a 4 or 5 song EP over the course of like, but I think we're just gonna release the songs as they're ready as like singles. And yeah, like we have obviously Execute Order 66 that just we need to finish tracking that, and then it needs to be mixed and mastered, and then it's done. And then we have 2 songs from the Storyline era that are getting re-recorded, songs that like where like the writing is just us. So I believe we're gonna be doing Some Days You're Kramer, Some Days You're Costanza, and Save the Clock Tower. But we're scrapping the lyrics to both of those. We're gonna rewrite the lyrics to both of those. And then we have, I believe, a 4th song that's like 80% done musically and needs lyrics, and then a 5th song that's like maybe like 25% done. So that'll probably be what we end up recording last. Is a song that's like 25% done.
Yeah, I have 2 songs. You know, I have if the glove fits, you must acquit.
That fucking name, I love it.
And My Grandpa's Deck that are both. The glove fits I've definitely been focusing more on because I feel like once I kind of get a lead riff, I can kind of start pushing it towards that final production of it being done. And Grandpa's Deck just needs like an intro and I believe a bridge. Because I wrote these songs like years ago when we were was like these were expected to be the next wave of songs that we were gonna the original EP. So I kind of forgot a lot of the stuff I wrote. So I'm kind of just rehashing it.
Yeah, so like EP 1 was gonna be like the stuff we played at shows, so like Paul Allen, Kramer, Van Buren Boys,
Clock Tower.
Ass Man, Skater Girl, and then the original. Well, I guess not the original, the second
It's
version of Clock Tower,
song
and
refuses
then
to die.
yeah, like EP2 is gonna be like Execute Order 66 if the glove fits. My grandpa's deck. I'm sure I was writing some shit that I probably forgot about as well.
Yeah, that was
Um,
yeah. So this is pretty much, I guess, the true follow up EP2. It's just gonna be the debut EP, really.
yeah, so it's EP. Yeah, it's the planned EP2. Cause I think we're just scrapping. Yeah, I think we're just scrapping all the stuff that we didn't have. We scrapped all the
Autonomy.
stuff where the writing credits wasn't solely us. Just for the sake of like, we're not really doing that in a way of like, oh well, if we didn't make it, it's not good. But it's more just like we don't want to run into trouble with like, like, hey, that's my song. Why are you using that? Shit like that. So I
Yeah, and
think
then
just to be safe, we're just scrapping everything where the writing isn't completely us, or if maybe it's something where like the music is completely Ed, but the lyrics weren't completely Ed, we'll scrap the lyrics and rewrite the lyrics like we're doing with Clock Tower.
yeah. So there's that, and that, and I don't know how to play the other stuff on guitar, so
That as well. Which is a shame because, like I said, with Ass Man, I did really love I loved the bridge to that song. That was probably like my favorite thing that I say we, but I didn't really have an involvement in it. This is probably my favorite thing that like storyline produced was the bridge to Ass Man.
yeah, that went hard.
That went so freaking hard.
China, man, I was about to break the stage.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I remember that. Like last time we were playing, you were stomping so fucking hard. I thought you were gonna fall through the stage.
Well, I'm sorry, it's a pop punk breakdown in the key of B with a China symbol going nonstop. How can you not?
Oh, I didn't say that in a mean way. I said that
I know,
in
I'm just saying.
yeah, that was probably my favorite too. And then like how we would go into like Doug and Carrie and shit. Doug and Carrie, Doug and Carrie. Don't demonetize me, YouTube. Um, yeah, I also really liked. I loved Paul Allen, but like honestly, I understand why we're scrapping that. I'm cool with that. Um, so yeah, basically, so we're just I guess skipping over storyline EP1 and going right to what would have been storyline EP2. Pretty much. Except storyline EP2 is also going to have Clock Tower on it. Because Clock Tower we could salvage.
Yes. And that song refuses to die, man. It's like herpes.
I know that song's been around since the original lineup of Ledger. When I
Yeah,
was
that
still in the
song
band
yeah,
originally as a drummer.
that was the first song I ever written 100%. Well, not 100%, I was a 98%.
Yeah, and the other 2% was Pete Adams just kind of touching it up.
Yeah, because that song, like I said previous episode, that song was the weirdest thing because I was literally the only person who knew how to play that song because we wanted song 5, and that my opinion was like that song because I like key of B. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Here, Pete, I recorded a scratch track for Pete of everything, and then he wrote the drums and he recorded the guitar and bass. He added things that he wanted to, just kind of sprinkled in there, and I didn't deny it because he's a pro and he signed Epitaph Records, so God
Yeah,
bless him.
he knows what he's doing, damn it.
I'm on the line of like, if I ask somebody for help, it's because I trust them. I'll
Yeah.
let them do something. Like when John says, "Let's try this," unless it's completely like weird, be like, "Yeah, I'm this is the reason why I hit you up."
Yeah. Exactly.
Because that ever since I recorded the storyline EP or the Ledger EP, the very first one, I wanted like full autonomy of everything. But like to me, it was just so like I like how it turned out because that's when I learned that like you gotta trust these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's a reason that it's not like, they're not all like John
Knowing.
Feldman types where they're gonna just like put their completely own spin on it and then like it's not even like your song anymore. Sometimes they just want to spice it up or they're just like, this part doesn't sound too good right here, let's maybe cut it out.
And for probably 90% of the time, I agree because they know I hear the music they make, I like it a lot, and I think they're doing me a favor by not are trying to give me the best possible product, so I'll take their input.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
something.
turned
It's
into a pretty
something.
big.
Cause it's something they want to be proud of too. Because that's still like that's going on their portfolio.
Yeah, it's under their name. So when they want to, have a portfolio for like if they put up an ad to record and they'd be like, I did these bands.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you hear it and you're like, wow, that's actually really good. Be like, yeah, I helped with that.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lesson for life in general. Is don't be shamed of saying yes to people that are more in experience in things. You know what I mean? Ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hire them
Cause,
for a reason.
cause yeah, like you're not gonna end up like Blink, who has 7 fucking songwriters. Sometimes it's that's what a producer is there for. That's why they're a producer. Otherwise, they're just an engineer. And I think that's like a legit thing. Like if they don't have any writing on the album, then they're an engineer. But if they have any writing credits, they're a producer.
Yeah, and I guess writing credits is like very vague because there could be just a simple thing like do this, do that, or I would add this, or you could be like John Feldman and be like, we're writing the Goldfinger leftover tracks.
Yeah, this is your music now. But again, we beat that horse to death. So.
I can't help it, man. Every time we hang out with John and Mario, we end up bringing it up.
I know. I was actually I was listening to the podcast we were on last night on their podcast.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, just like I was going through like all like the newer episodes of like In the Paint, which by the way, guys, if you don't already watch In the Paint, you should. That's John and Mario's podcast that they do, and it's really cool because like they talk about pop punk like we do, but they talk about like a whole bunch of shit, and it's like super interesting to just sit and listen. They usually have a lot of like local bands on as guests, and they talk about stories from like when they played shows and stuff, and it's really fun. It's something cool to listen to, and they're all on like Spotify and everything, as well as YouTube. It's good stuff. But
yeah, John's I know it's not this podcast about him, but I'm recording something. Kelly, get out of here! Jesus Christ! My apologies. My sister walked in my recording booth.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
No, I kicked her out already.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but like the dude is I know I use this term as ironically a lot of times as a joke, but the dude truly is an artist.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's very good stuff.
Like he's professional, like he's talented in multiple instruments with producing, songwriting, playing instruments, doing the podcast. He has a professional setup. He has the whole camera thing and everything going on. He's quite a talented man. So I definitely recommend checking out his stuff if you have time.
Yeah, and it's actually like I think it's kind of funny how like I know I said this last week, but I'm gonna say it again. It's kind of funny how things worked out, right? Like we invited Mario on as a guest. And that kind of led to us being guests on In the Paint. And that kind of just led to us jamming with John. Then that led to, well, now John is producing our EP and drumming on it. And Mario's playing guitar on it. And the whole situation in general has just been really cool. Because it's like, I got to make a new friend and reconnect with an old friend at the same time. As well as make music. So, like, the whole thing has just been a whole shebang of, like, just epicness.
Yeah, that's just the rabbit hole life takes you through,
Yeah, it's just kind of weird how it happens, right? Like it all started like me just saying to Mario, like, "Yo, would you like to be a guest on our podcast?" And now it led to finally like Knockout Kings is getting back off the ground. I mean, I know they're not official members, but I consider them unofficial members until the EP's done, at least.
Definitely friends.
Yeah.
Definitely and special thank section.
Yeah, 100%. It's just kind of funny how that like happened all in the span of like 2 weeks.
Yeah, life's funny like that.
So yeah, so we talked about like our plans like to finish up the EP and everything. What like I guess what's some ideas you have in the future for like playing shows and stuff? Cause I know like once the EP's done and we complete Knockout Kings, one thing I would like to do I'd like to try streaming shows like to Twitch. Like just maybe just like maybe like a practice session or something, or would we just be playing in front of like a Twitch audience?
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I guess it truly depends on like who's available for shows because unfortunately in our part of the country, the scene, local scene in particular, has really taken a hit. There's no real guy to book your shows. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, ever since Brad retired, I feel like local shows I haven't been hearing about them as frequently. I know that they still happen. So I know Mario knows a few people that like book shows, but yeah, I feel like I just haven't been hearing about local shows as much.
Yeah, I mean, they're just the scene is just unfortunately kind of withered away because for whatever reasons. But that there's still people who book shows. I mean, sometimes you have to play a little bar, you have to take a trip over the bridge, but you got to do what you got to do. The grind, nothing good comes easy. You got to work for it.
Which is weird because I remember the time that we did go over the bridge, probably our farthest away show where we played at like Sweeney's Saloon.
And like northeast
Which
Philly or
was
something
which
like
was like 45, 50 minutes away. That was probably the show we had the most of our friends come out to see.
that was like the first show. It's always exciting.
Like Chris had his whole crew come out. Fucking Dwayne showed up.
Yeah, I love how it's like so far away too. They all showed up.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But then our like second show where it was like literally like 10 minutes from our houses. Like a bunch of family came out, but I think as far as friends, I think only Wada came to the second show.
Yeah, I mean my family and my nephews and of course my brother Tony. He went to 2 of the 3 shows, and he always comes out, so he's always a good supporter.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. That's what I said. Like, I know we had a bunch of family. I remember I had a bunch of family telling me, like, yo, you should have said that it was like 10 minutes away. I would have came. I'm like, damn, yo, I didn't think you would have, or I would have said something.
I mean, all they had to do was just see that it was in Barrington, and people know, okay, well, Barrington's not that far away. I mean, I know the
Yeah,
local towns around us.
yeah.
If you say it
Um,
goes in Clementon, I'd be like, okay, that's close enough.
yeah. Then like our third show, which was over the bridge again, but it was like it was like in like the middle of Philly, so it was only like 20 minutes away. Like
Yeah,
literally nobody showed up. Our only crowd was like the other bands and the
it was
people
also
waiting
on a
for the other
Thursday night
bands.
too.
What was that?
So it was also on a Thursday night. So I guess that could be more understandable.
That is true. Yeah, you make a good point.
Still, though,
Um,
that was definitely that was the only time we ever actually played at a true venue, which was kind of disappointing.
yeah, because I definitely think I prefer like, and it's so weird because I guess bars are probably better for exposure because you're like you're playing to like I guess a wider variety of people. But shows are always like gonna be my favorite, like venue shows, because like everybody that's there is like there for the music and they're gonna be into it.
They're there to listen to pop punk or hardcore or post hardcore. You know what I mean? A lot of people at
Yeah.
bars, they
And of
just want
course, and of course, there's always gonna be spillover. Like a lot of people that come out for the hardcore bands, they like pop punk too. So when we come out and play, they're like, "Yeah, you guys are pretty solid." They'll probably like the fucking breakdowns that we put in our music.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely a different vibe.
I agree, and I get it. I know bar gigs are like important too, but yeah, no, I greatly prefer venue gigs.
Yeah, there's just that whole kind of punk rock vibe to it.
Yeah, true. True. I just love the vibe of everybody coming out like to see us. Or maybe not to see us necessarily, but to listen to music. So like when we go on, like they get hype. Like I don't think I've ever seen a more hype crowd than when we played Josie
And
at that place in Philly, the Creep Records.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen a venue get more hype. And like I know it's a cover, so it's not like they're getting hype for our music, but they're still getting hype for us.
Yes, and that always feels good no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember after the show, people coming up and be like, yo, we thought you were gonna play Damn It, but we're hyped that you didn't.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate sin in music, if you ask me. If you cover Damn It at a live show,
That
yeah,
just reminds me of the King of Queens when Danny's trying to sing Neil Diamond. But
yeah,
somebody already sang Neil Diamond, they're like, we don't double diamond. That's always what I think of with Damn It. I just picture a guy sitting there like, other band already played that. We don't double, damn it.
You shouldn't even be singling it, to be honest, anymore.
And it's funny because as a song, I actually don't hate the song. I actually think it's very enjoyable. But
Of course.
it's just every single pop punk local show you go to, one of the bands without fail is gonna play "Damn It."
Or that, or My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah, I remember the first show that we played. I'm pretty sure Famous and Fallen did a cover of "Damn It." And no, just I actually really liked Famous and Fallen. I remember they also did an Alkaline Trio cover. They played Private Eye, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure they did also do a "Damn It" cover. I'm like, of course.
You know, one of these days, just do like a joke cover set. You literally just do the most cliche pop punk covers.
We do like "Damn It," "My Own Worst Enemy."
We're going down.
Yeah, fucking Basket Case, 1985.
Also, a Flagpole Sit is a very popular one people do.
Yeah.
From my experience in the scene, that's a one that definitely seems to be a top 5 most popular cover.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like I'd be down with that. Like that's
Like a
another
joke.
thing I was thinking. Like when we're talking about like the future of Knockout Kings, like we could maybe do like theme nights like that. If we do stream to Twitch like regularly, like maybe like once a week or something, we could maybe do like theme nights where we do something like that, where it's like all like the covers that you're gonna hear at a pop punk show.
Yeah, but you get to hear them all in one beautiful place.
Yeah, all in one beautiful set.
Oh God.
And maybe for good measure, we could throw in something a little heavier. We could do the End of Heartache too, because I remember Mario was telling me that's like the metalcore version of Damn It. Like if you're going to a metalcore show, somebody's gonna cover the End of Heartache by Killswitch Engage.
Jeez, I know my friends over you and Hit or Miss are very popular, overly cliche cover songs.
Yeah. Yeah,
You can
I
have
would
me,
definitely
like,
not be opposed to My Friends Over You or Hit or Miss as covers. Hit or Miss I actually very genuinely enjoy as a song. I remember I tried out for Then Ledger with a cover of Hit or Miss.
Well, to be honest with you, the Woo won you over.
The
That
Woo.
opening Let's Go in the beginning.
Let's go!
I heard that, I'm like, yo, is this actually T? And I was like, okay, sure, yeah, we'll send him an email back. Well, I remember a mutual friend of ours sent a tryout clip, but he was automatically disqualified because he was insubordinate. I said, send me a cover of you singing Greg's Last Day by the Starline, and he sends me Alistair Somewhere in Fullerton.
Which,
So
funny
wrong.
enough, I do enjoy that song. That song is in my playlist somewhere on
But yeah,
Fullerton.
they're both great songs, but it's the principle of it.
It's the insubordination.
It's if he's even gonna listen to me during a tryout, what makes you think he's gonna listen to us when it's actually come to writing songs and playing music?
I know, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know you
And
gotta.
I love him to death, but I also love to roast him.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, it's just funny. I'm like, yo, Greg's Last Day, and next thing I'm like, I'm hearing the guitar. I'm like, wait a minute, This is not even close.
This is not Greg's Last Day. You fucking lied to me.
Oh, I know. So I was just like, oh, well, that's automatically disqualification.
Automatic disqualification. I love it.
It's the principle, Mr. Will. It's the principle.
But yeah, I think I could definitely get on board with like a covers night.
Just a cover night, easy core night.
Easy core night, yeah, where we do like a whole bunch of easy core covers.
Just for your strong.
And we play maybe like our chuggier stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Cause I do have like I wouldn't consider these songs like in the running for recording yet, because they're just literally riffs. But I do have a few like easy core riffs that I was working on. Like I remember there was the one that I showed you, that Winchester Tinfieldville, Iowa. That was just very like chuggy and was just an easy core song. And then I had another one I was working on that I forget what it's called right now, but it was very chuggy. So yeah, expect some chugs in the future of Knockout Kings. People listening. Our first wave is gonna be pretty standard pop punk, because that's the stuff we've been just kind of coming up with. But expect Wave 2, or I guess EP 2, so to speak, to be very easy core-y, because I think I got a few easy core riffs that that I think can be fleshed out into an actual song. So expect
Yeah,
that.
so the future is brave.
On the live set, the live shows are definitely a ways away because we need a full band before you can do that. Like you could do a recording with like in our case we have John and Mario to help us out. But as far as like live set, we're gonna need like legit members before we even think about doing live shows again. But when we do live shows, expect some stream shows, some like theme nights, which I think will be pretty fun. And yeah, the future is looking very bright for Knockout Kings, I would say.
Yeah, I'm very excited. There's definitely optimism.
100%, and I am looking so forward to that. Now, before we go, this is a segment that we did a while back in episode 4, I believe. And we haven't done it since because we haven't really got viewer questions, but we have a few viewer questions this week. We have 2. Alright, now the first one, Laura with a bunch of numbers says, will the Pop Punk Podcast episodes be put on Spotify? And the answer to that is yes. We are definitely working on it. John, again, to bring it back a little bit, John told us about this app that like puts all your stuff on Spotify that I downloaded. We're all set up. I just need to figure out really just how to convert the podcast episodes, which are videos on my computer. I need to just figure out how to convert them to audio files. And then once they're converted, they're going right up on Spotify. And then once I figure out how to do it and I upload like all those episodes onto Spotify, then in the future, like just once I upload an episode to YouTube, it'll also get uploaded to Spotify the same day. So yes, they will definitely be on Spotify in the future. When? Soon? But I don't want to put a time frame on it. That way, in case I can't do it by that time frame, it's not like, oh well, you said so. Just all I'm gonna say is coming soon. And that was that question. Now, Cheyenne J says, "Will you make a T-Rex noise on the next episode?" Okay. Don't really know how a T-Rex sounds, but I think it's something like Arr! So, Ed, would you like to make a T-Rex noise?
Oh, Christ. Let me see what the actual T-Rex sounds like.
He's pulling up the, he's Googling it.
Well, I know, I'm like the guy, can you pull this up? Because I know the Jurassic Park sound was actually kind of like, not real.
Well, yeah, obviously, they don't have an actual T-Rex.
You know what I mean? But like, that's not actually supposed to be, that's not like an actual representation of how they sound like. Like, I think they actually sounded more like birds, actually, they said.
Really?
They say,
okay,
for a dinosaur to vocalize in defense of its territory or as a mating call, it might have sounded like one of today's birds, scientists say. In fact, a journal article published online argues that the ancient reptiles made sounds closer to a coo of a pigeon or an ostrich. So, oh!
Yeah, could you imagine? Like you're just chilling out in like the wilderness. It's like 60 million BC, and you hear like tweet 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 tweet, like like a bird, and you're shitting your pants, scared because you know the T-Rex is coming.
I know, it's like you got this thick boy coming running at you.
Yeah, but like the sound he's making is like ah, 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 ah.
I know, it's insane. Imagine like a 31,000-pound giant lizard is just cawing at you.
Oh my god, dude, I'd cry. I'd cry laughing, but then I'd also cry because I'd probably get eaten.
Well, apparently they ran about 17 miles per hour, so hopefully through the sheer tyranny of will and hope to survive that I can kind of keep on going.
Yeah, true.
I don't understand yet, but
I feel like it's actually really slow considering how big they are.
I mean, they are very thick. Got
that's true.
2 legs.
Oh, I guess that's true.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in, dinosaurs or ancient beasts. So, if if you want more info on that, you can always just YouTube or go on Discovery Channel and.
Yeah, nor am I, but I hope our T-Rex sounds, I hope they made you happy, Shy.
Yes, sir. And, yeah.
And I think, that concludes, today's episode. You guys know the drill. Okay, Princess. Princess is, like, jumping up on me. She's getting antsy. So you guys know the drill. Amazing episode. If you're watching on YouTube, new episodes every Tuesday at noon. If you're watching on Twitch, new episodes live every Thursday at 3:30. And yeah, we will catch you guys next time. Peace.